My opponent goes 1d4. And I'm like supposed to be playing King's Indian, I guess. Like is what I guess I'm doing. I don't really have a thing I'm doing. But like I'd rather die than like go into a Jobava London in quick chess again. So I went g6 because I'm like, I wouldn't say I know how to play the modern, but I've played it in classical chess and done well with it. So I figured a quick game it won't be that bad. But after c4, I'm like, I'm going in. No Jobava. I'll go knight f6. So now it is a King's Indian. My opponent goes g3. So we have a g3 King's Indian, which is something that I have played from both colors since I was 16 years old. Okay? So I would say that I kind of know what I'm doing in some lines. I go bishop g7, bishop g2, castles, knight c3, d6, knight f3. And knight c6 is sort of my pet line here. I think it's very common. It might be it's the most popular move. Okay, castles and a6. Again, the most popular move. And after the move d5, I go knight a5, the most popular move. Knight d2, I go c5, the most popular move, and the only move that makes sense. Yet, at this point, my opponent was like, he like scoffed at c5, thought for a second, and was like, huh. It's like, what? You know? So I felt like that was a really good sign already. I was feeling real good about my chances here, because, I mean, I don't know if you thought I didn't know what I was doing because I started with g6 or what, but opponent goes queen c2, and then I think back to like my legendary Mid-America from like 2019, where I went from like barely over 2000 to like 2060 in one tournament, where I beat an NM in this line with black. And I thought back to, I played the move bishop g4. I don't know if the position was exactly the same, but this looks kind of dumb. It's not making any threats, but what it's doing is inducing pawn pushes. So h3 feels productive for him, maybe. Bishop f5 attacking the queen, inducing e4, which again, like you would think is productive for him because he's putting a pawn in the center. And then going back to d7, but there's a very clear point behind this. I want the bishop on d7 anyways to support the b5 push. It just makes sense. Oh wait, actually I played rook b8 first, and after a4 I then played bishop g4, but the point is still the same. The bishop's going on d7 kind of no matter what. Having h3 in would definitely favor me. Having f3 in would favor me because it would make his bishop bad. But here it's just pushing a pawn in front of the king for no reason. And also having e4 in makes this bishop even worse. And I kind of want to close the position down now that the queen side is closed as well. I want to close the center and then play for a kingside attack, which is what happened in that game. These games are 15 minutes with a 3-second increment. So pretty fast. But that is why I go bishop g4 to induce h3, then bishop f5 to induce e4, and then I go bishop d7. So all moves that you might consider to be like, you know, like someone who doesn't know what they're doing would do, but they are the best moves. Opponent, I think, just assumed I was an idiot and played e5 here, which is a move you would play if you think your opponent has just made 2 terrible moves, which I did not. This move, it's like, I don't really understand. Like, it's a free pawn. It's a free pawn. I don't know. Like, it's like it looks like you think you're making like a real deep positional move, but it's just like hanging a pawn. It doesn't make my position any worse. In fact, it makes it better because I now have the d6 square to put a knight on. So after b3, I go knight to e8 to add support to the pawn. The knight is moseying its way to d6, where it cannot be hurt and it is blockading a pawn. The b6 pawn, the b pawn's going to b6. This knight's coming to b7, and so when this knight goes away, it will be replaced by another knight. There will also be like bishop f5 ideas. I could play f5, but it just seems unnecessarily weakening. But truly, I'm just up a pawn, so I just need to hang on to it. So bishop b2, knight d6, rook f to e1, b6, solid. And now my opponent plays knight d1, threatening my pawn. And I thought for a minute here about what to do, and I honestly didn't see any reason why I can't just play f6 and be up a pawn. And a few weeks ago, that move I feel like I wouldn't play. I feel like I was playing way too loosey-goosey and trying to make everything like, you know, mean something. But sometimes you're up a pawn and you just hang on to the pawn. So f6 was the best move, so I'm glad I played that. Knight e3, knight a to b7, and the point is if he ever challenges my knight, it will reappear. I also want to play knight f5 and bishop f5 and then put another knight on d6. Trading pieces, I'm just up material. Opponent goes h4, which surprised me. I thought if anything, maybe g4 to control this square, if anything. h4 I was not afraid of. The knight comes to f5, challenging this knight. More importantly, I want to put the knight on d4, where it's going to be a monster. Bring in the other knight like this, and like both knights support the b5 push directly, but also indirectly. Sometimes the c-pawn, or c-pawn push. My opponent goes h5. I really thought he should just take, and then play like knight e4. I wasn't thrilled with this. I was going to go knight d6, and it's like, it's fine. But like, I mean, I'm just up a pawn. But opponent goes h5, to which I just put the knight where it goes. That's where he goes. So I'm not worried about this. This comes with tempo, and you know, I was like, he could try to sacrifice the knight, but it just doesn't do anything. The king hides on h8, and without the dark squared bishop, an attack will always fail on the dark squares. Not always. Bishop takes d4. All right, what pawn would you take with here? Again, I'm happy with like finding. I guess it's maybe obvious. I don't know, but I was happy with my decision here. Yeah, I like taking with the c-pawn. Like, taking this way actually makes these weaknesses feel like kind of scary. Like, it gives him counterplay, it gives him a semi-open file, the square might be usable. But taking with the c-pawn just gives me like an additional square for the knight, a big strong center. There's like no drawback to it, really. And he then has to just like move the knight back, and this position is atrocious. I can even go for f5 sometimes. But of course, I got the feeling my opponent did not respect me. Maybe it's all in my head and I'm an asshole. It's entirely possible and probably true. I was rewatching like my oldest videos on YouTube, and oh my god, I am insufferable. I think I'm still like that, but I was way worse. To be fair, I was a teenager and I had a miserable home life. And I was around, but there's no excuse. I was annoying. I'm trying to work on it though. I felt like my opponent didn't respect me because he just goes h takes g6 and he's like sacking a piece. It's like, it doesn't do anything. Like, I take the knight, I play king h8, and because my, like, he has zero control over dark squares. He has zero pieces attacking me. This pawn is shelter. He's not getting in on the light squares. Like, what is this? What is this? It goes f takes e3. And then guess what? The knight comes to d6. I'm gonna go bishop f5, and you're gonna be done. I'm not necessarily ever gonna take this because it's my shelter. I don't want to do that because then he like clears the h file and he gets me. So I'm not gonna take necessarily, but like if I block this diagonal, he has nothing. Opponent goes king f2, bishop f5, knight e4, and I'm just like, all right, it's time to trade everything. I'm up a piece. f5, big strong center. King is now on f file. Sometimes there's this, but really it's more about the center and the king. Queen h4. Rook f6 I thought was like a groovy move. Nice multi-purpose move. Was that the best move? Yeah, just about. It's equal with queen d6. But I have these ideas now. His king I think is actually far weaker than mine. I don't think my king is weak at all. How are you gonna get to my king? You don't have any pieces. The rook comes to h1, and then this is like the one moment where I did like a very silly. I did not see this move was legal, and I thought that his queen was trapped. So I played rook h6, and I was like, yeah, I'm real smart. I'm real smart and cool. And he went queen g5. I was like, oh, I'm real dumb. I'm real dumb and an idiot. And then I like thought about what to do here, and people were telling me to play queen f8. It's like, the rook goes on f6. I'll just put it back. It's okay. My position is so good. I can just put it back where it goes. King e2, and then it's like, all right, your king is bad. I'm just gonna blast everything open and get you with my rooks. I'm gonna get you. Like, I'm gonna break him open at the right time. G4, and like his only idea is if the G file opens and I forget that this is attacked. So out of pure what's the word? Not vindictiveness, but like Chad is better at words than me, but like I just to make him cry, I'm like, all right, well, I'm using his own pawns as my house. Like, I don't need, spite maybe. Like, I don't need any pawns in front of my king because your pawns are keeping me safe. I just thought it was really funny. Takes on b5, takes on b5, takes on f4, takes on f4. Queen h5 does nothing. Takes on c4, takes on c4. I go f3 check, and after king f2, really nasty, I go queen b6, and after the king goes to the first rank, queen b2 is forking the rook and like a mate in 2, essentially. So he flagged here. He flagged, called his own flag instead of resigning. Sat there for 10 seconds and flagged. But is he flagged? So we'll never know like what the result would have been. But no, this game was so good. Like, let me show you the graph. Sorry for being annoying, but like I've had such a rough few weeks with chess. Like this felt really good after being so depressed for so long. So that's chess. I recorded it right after it happened too, so no one can say anything about that. Who knows when I'll upload it? But what's the puppy doing? Do you want to come here? Hi, where's the puppy? Does the puppy want to go for a walk? I also got 15,000 steps today, all while I had a migraine. Just for the record. How many steps did you have? You probably got double that. You got 4 paws. You get 30,000 steps. 30,000? He never got checkmated by the woman because he flagged. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. I guess it's just pattern recognition, but like I could tell that he would not respect me. Kind of no matter what, but I don't know. I also shouldn't say things about people I don't know on the internet. So it's like it's a fine line. That was one of the things I did in the old video. I like just made some like weird like it was the Denver Open tournament where Neil drew Jesse Cry in the last round. And I said like the saltiest shit ever, which I know I was just repeating like the people around me. I was just repeating what they were saying. I didn't really have this opinion, but it's arguably worse. But I was like, it's not that impressive though, because Jesse didn't care that much and just wanted to go get drunk at the end of the tournament. But it's like, shut up! Of course it's impressive to draw a GM, you bitch. Like, why would I say that?